You had multiple internship job offers. Is it the recession does not apply to cybersecurity, or is it the field is booming?
Almost like 60% of the jobs become ineligible for us international students. I don't think I've shared this with anyone. It's going to be interesting. There's something called Google Docs, or there's some Google filters which you can apply. And based on that, you can filter down and really nag down the specific pointers you want to mention. Did I say that cybersecurity has the most amount of remote folks than any other domain?
Oh, wow. How many interviews or offers did you get?
Actually got 3 offers because of this. 1 internship and 2 jobs, yeah.
What kind of money do cybersecurity engineers make?
Folks work for like $22 an hour for internship, up to like $80 an hour.
$80? Before you watch this, I want to quickly say that most people underutilize LinkedIn. They don't understand the power of LinkedIn and how to leverage LinkedIn to get jobs. I have built an ultimate course. It's going to teach you everything from optimizing your profile, getting sourced by a recruiter on LinkedIn. There are live examples, and also how to use LinkedIn and leverage LinkedIn to create the job opportunity that didn't even exist. You didn't even know that it existed. Let me give you a quick sneak peek, and I will tell you that more than 350 students have joined this course and they are loving it. And you can see everything from setting your profile, networking, search techniques, job hunting technique, and like live examples where I'm actually reaching out to people and doing cold networking, etc. You'll also get free plugin, premium plugin for H1B and OPT and all of that. So I highly recommend you check out. Link will be in the description. Thank you, Gaurav, for doing this. I am excited, first of all, because there's not many cybersecurity engineer role on my channel. So you are probably gonna like shine a lot of light on what does it like mean to be a cybersecurity, what is the career opportunities, and I know we're gonna do series of videos. But before we get into all of that, let's do a like quick intro. Where are you from? When did you come to United States? What did you do in United States, and what are you doing right now?
Awesome. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me, Yudi. So, just to get into the introductions, I'm Gaurav Saraf. I'm from Bangalore, India, and I did my undergrad in India as well in computer science. And I just graduated in December of 2023 with a master's in cybersecurity from Syracuse University.
Nice. And I know for the audience who are watching, we are going to do a separate video on Syracuse University and your master's journey. But this one is more about job hunting, and then we'll probably do other video series on the cybersecurity itself. But
Awesome.
let's start with the elephant in the room, which is you graduated in December 2023, which is the worst job market ever. Yet you told me behind the scenes that you had multiple internship job offers and multiple offers for your when you graduated. So is one, is it the recession does not apply to cybersecurity, or is it the field is booming, or obviously you have something in your profile that we will explore in the podcast as well, but like what is it?
Yeah, so it's quite an interesting journey. Definitely, the recession applies to the cybersecurity field as well. There's nothing like this field is no different. But it's just that I think it's a little bit easier in the cybersecurity domain compared to the data folks and the SDE folks. So it's a definitely easier path to choose in at the current market situation, but the hardships are still available. So the big chunk of the cybersecurity problems start at, most of the jobs actually require you to be a citizen or require security clearance, right? So that's almost a norm in the cybersecurity industry. So that makes it a little bit complicated because I can say almost like 60% of the jobs become ineligible for us international students because we just cannot apply for it. But that being said, what people miss out and forget about cybersecurity is no one is expecting you to be the expert or be masters in that domain. But what they expect is just the bare minimum and the foundations and the fundamentals in the scope. And once you're able to crack down on the fundamentals, you're more than qualified, and in some cases even overqualified based on the job description for the position, where many universities actually do not want to say cybersecurity in the course name. So they might call it Masters in Cybersecurity, but on your I-20 it'll say completely different, something completely different. Even
Mm.
Syracuse University does that because they have seen in the past that apparently this comes under a special list where the U.S. government is skeptical to give out, to let people come in for such advanced degrees. A
Mm.
similar degree would be like aerospace engineering, where there have been problems. So they use the tactic where they're not using cybersecurity in the I-20, but something else,
Yeah, they might call it information technology and then like the
something like that. Yeah.
specialization. Yeah, gotcha. Okay. Okay. Let's get more tactical. So, from timeline perspective, when did you start looking for it? If you were like you landed and you had multiple internship offer and multiple job offers. So, for let's start with internship. When did you actually start applying or like start thinking about job hunting?
Okay, so I got here in the spring of 22. That means of
So,
January of 22 was my first day of
right.
college. And being an international student, you cannot work off campus for 8 months, I believe, or the
Yeah.
first two semesters or something like that. So I knew that my first summer is not going to be, going towards getting an internship or working at an outside a company. So, but I used that to my advantage. Uh, by that time, I'd already secured my position as a SOC analyst on campus. So I was working as a SOC analyst during the summer, but I was still, sitting at home and just getting myself ready for the job season. So I did know that I wanted to do my internship during the summer of 23, and applications usually start quite early. And I actually started applying for these internship positions in August of 22. So almost 10 months in advance. And
That is wild. That is crazy. And the reason I was smiling is because I've said this in multiple videos as well that this is when it starts, especially
I
for the
probably
fall.
learned it from your videos.
Thank you. But like, you were spring student, so like in separate video we'll talk about the spring advantages, disadvantages. But you had time to work on your
Absolutely.
profile and resume and all of that. But
That's
think
right.
about fall student. They
No,
are landing in August, and if they are not ready at all, then they are gonna miss the boat in that first season of like you said. So August to October is when all the big tech companies will do their main summer internship hiring. And of course, there is going to be still hiring in January, February, March, but it's not going to be the big tech company because they've already done the hiring. Would you agree with that?
100%. I think it's just brutal. In as soon as you land, you're hardly getting used to the environment and everything, and then you need to know, and you see that everyone's already applying for jobs, and it's already too late. Folks from the spring are already getting internship offers, and you're just like, oh my God, you're just freaking out. You don't know what to do. You don't have a
Yeah.
proper resume because resume standards might change quite a bit from India to the US. So
Yeah.
everyone's just freaking out, and I completely understand, and I took that as an advantage for myself being in spring. That before the chunk of the crowd came, I was already ready with my projects
Mm.
and my whole brand. Let's just say that to
Mm.
get onboarded and to be ready to make applications ready.
Mm.
So
Okay.
definitely an
Yeah.
advantage.
Yeah. Okay. Let's. So obviously you already kind of hinted into the brand, personal brand, and in a way for job hunting or job search, like you need three most important things. One is your resume, then your LinkedIn profile, which is in a way your online resume, and
Hmm.
then your overall portfolio slash personal brand, which kind of we'll dive into all three of them. But that's also like depends on if you are going through online application strategy or networking strategy, not the cybersecurity networking but the relationship building networking. So no
Yeah.
pun intended over here. But so in your case, which strategy did you go by? Like did you went by cold applications or did you go the networking and relationship building side, or both?
Yeah, so I did both. Yeah, I would say I did both. Um, Being in summer, I knew that networking does work, but in my opinion, it did not work, or else I did not try hard enough. That might also be the case, but it did not work out for me. But it works out for a lot of other folks in my
Mm.
circle, and they were able to get in a lot of different connections and a lot of different just people on the internet, people on LinkedIn. They're very helpful, and especially the Desi community, I think they're very looking out for each other. And
Yeah. Yeah.
yes, so people are there to help you out. But in my personal experience, it did not work out for me. And
Mm.
so it was definitely a combination of both doing applications on the internet, but just emailing people. I just used to like randomly, persistently email folks, send them my resumes, and just ask them that if you have any position, just apply. Even if you don't have any positions, I'm happy to, like, I just want to talk to you guys. I want to understand, what are you guys looking for. It's never
Mm.
to like, it does not have to be always transactional, right? And
Yeah.
that's been my strategy for like applying for positions, of course, on the internet, and just emailing folks and reaching out to people on LinkedIn, and reaching out to a lot of my alumni network is actually very helpful for me. But these are the three things I did, and I think
But it still sounds like even. I mean, I think networking is so broadly used, and people just think one of the ways networking is like referrals. But what you did is in a way like the backdoor way, right? Like you reached out to the people through email, and then messaged them, and hopefully they got on a call with you, and perhaps maybe they also helped you to connect with recruiter or hiring manager. I don't know. We can explore that, but uh, so even though it's not like a direct referral or a networking, but it is in path of that. Yes, of course, you worked on your resume and LinkedIn. So let's start there, where you were able to connect with people online on internet, on your alumni. um, One, how would you find those, and then how would you find those people, and who were they, and then how did you find their email? What you're going to watch is an amazing story, but before you watch that, I just want to quickly say that all of these story, I compile the key insights from these stories and all the podcasts that I do, and I put this in my free exclusive newsletter community. Every week more than 16,000 people receive my newsletter, and they love it. And here are some of the examples. You can see this was a podcast on George Mason universities, and you can see how to network and 10% cold emailing, powerful LinkedIn techniques, and so on and so forth. So if you're interested in becoming part of this exclusive newsletter community, absolutely free. Link is in the description, or you can go to udj.com/newsletter.
okay, yeah. I must say that I use a little bit of my cybersecurity skills to get their
Of
emails.
course.
But jokes aside, it's not difficult to get folks' emails.
Yeah.
There are multiple tools on the internet which help you like get emails, and very updated emails, not just one email, but multiple emails of that person on the
Mm.
internet. You might be able to get it for free sometimes. You might have to pay sometimes, which is okay. If you're able to improve your ROI, it's okay. It's fine, right? So a lot of the folks, like, actually I found on the internet was, they just have their, if you just Google their names, they would have leaked their emails somewhere on the internet,
Mm.
and that's most likely going to be their personal email or their work email.
Mm.
And based on that, I was easily able to get like 15, 20 emails of recruiters from tech companies, from top tech companies, especially the FANG, the uh, I had a special like inclination or interest towards automobile companies. So I've targeted a lot of automobile companies, and I found most of their emails on the internet. I don't think I paid for even one email address, but if you have to pay for them, I personally feel that it's definitely worth it. And even if that did not work out, what happens usually is you just reach out to people on the internet, and if they, sometimes people are hesitant to like directly refer you because they do not know you, but they might be happy to give you the recruiter's name, or the HR folks name, or the HR folks email address, which is more than enough for you to like reach out to them. And I think being persistent is also a big skill. Is even if that person is not responding, just be shameless, just hammer down, and eventually either they'll get irritated, or they'll be excited that you're so persistent, and they might actually reach out to you. So I don't think
Mm.
there's a loss in that. And I don't think anyone should feel embarrassed in that situation
Yeah,
either.
if you're shy, you're not gonna win in this market. So yeah,
Yeah,
you need to you need to get rid of that, and just yeah,
I agree.
be seamless. But let's go one layer deeper.
Hmm.
So you said recruiters, are those the only kind of people you were reaching out, or were there other like directors or like different types of people? And how would you find them? Is it pretty much just LinkedIn?
So not really. So let's just putting my entrepreneur hat on here. So let's just say it's a big funnel, right? It's a huge funnel which you keep optimized and you get different filters on at each stage
Hmm.
to finally figure out a list of folks you need to reach out to and need to be persistent on. Have like this huge funnel where you're just getting the list of companies, getting the list of folks you want to talk to, and just see which works out in which teams you want to focus on.
So let's say I'm interested in Tesla, for example.
Mhm.
I keep giving Tesla a lot of examples. So maybe let's use Rivian, for example. So I'm really interested in working for Rivian, and like that is my dream company. So I go to Rivian's company page, and then I would go to people's in their people's section, and then type security or
Mhm.
cybersecurity or whatever, a network engineer. Now I have filtered out to the list of people. Then this is my like more filtered funnel that I'm gonna start reaching out. And now you're not reaching out to them on LinkedIn, but you're actually emailing them.
That's correct. So let's go a little bit deeper, and I don't think I've shared this with anyone. It's going to be interesting. So I LinkedIn search is great. It's wonderful. Like you have a lot of filters and everything, but I think the indexing on Google is better.
Hmm.
So if you there's something called Google Docs or there's some Google filters which you can apply, and based on that, you can filter down and really nag down the specific pointers you want to mention. It's very easily available on the internet. There's
Can
nothing
you show
illegal.
like a live demo to us? Here we go. You see my screen?
Yes,
Okay. So you said site
site
colon
space LinkedIn.com.
LinkedIn. Is it not colon?
It's colon, yeah, space. Yeah, it's fine. Doesn't matter. LinkedIn.com, and then space. You can
Space
put in like quotes. You can put in security or product security.
security. Let's do network security.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then you can
Space
put in some company's name.
Rivian. Uh, and then you said resume. That was
Yeah.
interesting.
You don't want to put resume in quotes, and you might also there's something called file tag as well. So if you can, as you did that for site, do the same thing for file.
So over
At
here,
the end,
file.
it doesn't matter.
Uh,
And in after the colon, just put PDF. So this will usually filter out all the folks who have either listed their resumes or have the resumes. If you remove LinkedIn.com, and then you'll see a lot of PDFs.
if I remove LinkedIn.com.
Yeah. So right now it's just filtering everything from LinkedIn.com.
Yeah.
But if you want to like do a different search for PDFs, you'll probably find something for PDFs. So right now,
Hmm.
again, it's this is just doing search for Rivian and security, and it's gotten it. If you see, you didn't mention anything about resumes. So if you mention resume and then PDF, you'll probably see something.
Hmm.
And it's hit or miss, but if you know how to do it, it's going to give you a good response.
Okay. So in this case, you this is like site, LinkedIn, networking, Rivian. So now this is gonna give me the list of people who are working, assuming in Rivian and in networking security. So I'm gonna click on one of them and just check it out. Yeah, staff. Oops. Let me. There we go. And so here we go, staff cybersecurity. So now you would email this person to get the actual like whatever you need to send them. Is that?
That's correct. So yes, that's correct. And say, for example, you wanted a resume of Sharat Chandra. I'm assuming he's a security folk, so he's not leaking his resume on the internet. But if you put his name and say put resume and put like PDF, you'll probably find that PDF on the internet.
Hmm. Hmm. Uh, That is so interesting. Okay, and so what now? How do you get the email? Like, what are some of the tools that you would get the email? And is it as simple as Google search, like you just showed us, or is it different?
So it's actually very similar to this, but there's also tools like Rocket Reach and Hunter and tools, various other tools, which I think give you like free email addresses for like as you sign up or something like that. Before I think they used to give like 15 email addresses, but right now it's I think it's like 4 or 5 or something like that. So you
Yeah.
can use these tools to get free email addresses as well. And what also helped me is even if like I said, the people did not want to refer you themselves, they would definitely give you the LinkedIn of that specific person. And another tactic I've used, I've not used personally, is I've seen someone else use, is instead of buying the normal LinkedIn, you buy the business LinkedIn, and through that you can get their email addresses too. So that's
Like
something which you can
a
do.
recruiter version.
Yeah, like a recruiter version, but that again is expensive. But so
Yeah, it's
I don't know if
like
you'd
one
want to do
sixty
that. It's
nine
really
dollars
expensive.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
if you like really milk that thing out for like a month, maybe it's beneficial. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So you get the email address through different tools. Now, what do you tell them in the email? Like, do you have a template? Do you like? Is there a thing that you start with? Like, what kind of cold email is this?
So I had like two different cold emails. One is to just understand what the person is doing. That's for my personal research. That's how to how to target that specific company and how to frame a resume. And then I would have like a different email to like for recruiters and HR folks, right? Even like team managers and everything. So I would keep it very basic, nothing too long, nothing too fancy, no chat GPT crap. Just keeping it very basic that, hey, I'm looking for an internship. I know that I don't have a lot of experience, or I have experience in this, and this is where I can add value. And if you think that's going to be helpful, just feel free to reach out to me. Even if you do not think I'm going to be able to add value, just you can add really good value to my process by just telling me that what am I lacking, and just that. And usually people are they do not want to read long emails and read like long messages. I was just being this upfront, and it worked out.
Hmm.
And if you have like specific points which you can add to their environment, or do you have any like very specific questions which might interest them, that will be great. It of
Hmm.
course really shows that you're interested, and it really drives the narrative that yes, you're going to be able to add value because you understand their environment. So that's something which you can do. But this is what I did. I just kept it very basic and simple, and I just kept telling them whenever I kept reaching out to them that if you don't want to nag, me nagging you, just say that I do not have time for this, and I'll respect you. Thank you so much for taking the effort to read my email, and I will not bother you anymore. And
Hmm.
even after then, I would actually still bother them at least one more time,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
would stop at that stage. At that stage, it's not professional anymore. So
Yeah.
there's no
Yeah.
point in pushing that line anymore.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And so,
yeah,
how many? So, did this technique? How many interviews or offers did you get any, or was this did not work at all?
actually got three offers because of this. One internship and two jobs. Yeah,
Oh wow. Okay. So tell me more. This. So what happened? So you reached out. Was this like direct hiring manager or recruiter?
one was a HR company. It was a HR folk in the company, and the other one was actually a director, and
Hmm.
he forwarded my email internally. Apparently, I couldn't see it. I thought he isn't responding to me, but he forwarded my email to someone else, and then randomly they reached out to me on LinkedIn, and I asked everyone that how did you actually get my contact, or why did you find me? And they said that we just got your email from a higher up.
Yeah.
And the person did not respond to me, but they forwarded my resume to the team member internally. So it
Yeah.
went from a director to a senior manager to a manager, who manager finally reached out to me and told the HR folk to line everything up and get everything sorted.
Got it. Okay. And that was purely like in cold outreach of like, hey, I'm interested in an internship. Here's my skills. Here's how I can add value, XYZ. And then few days later, you have an interview lined up. That is
That's
crazy.
right. Yeah,
That is,
and I made it very easy for the folks to reach out to me as well. It's not just on LinkedIn, but I again, very sneaky thing to do is I had like a schedule a meeting button on my resume. So even if they did not like reach out to me, I know that someone is actually clicking on this link, and I
Hmm.
know which uh, part of the US that link is being clicked, and I would like connect dots from that and target and like double down on that specific company. So
Hmm.
that's something which I did, and that was quite helpful too.
So interesting, so fascinating. You're using like using the live cybersecurity skills for your job hunting. That is good.
Yeah.
Cool. So obviously this technique was very helpful in your situation, and you used it. And would you send like your resume when you're sending the email, or is that just an email?
Yes, no, I actually send them my resume. There's no point in just emailing them and not giving any perspective into yourself, because what are they going to respond to? Nothing. They don't know anything
Right.
about you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And then did you have like any website portfolio?
I used two different platforms to really push my narrative and push my knowledge out. That was LinkedIn, not LinkedIn, sorry, GitHub and Medium. So being in cybersecurity, I was doing a lot of like uh, basically these labs and everything on the internet on popular websites, and I was just doing like how I actually solve these hack the box challenges. It's hack the box is a website where you can
Hmm.
do all of these challenges. I just wrote a very of brief of how I actually solved this, what is my thought process, what are my steps I took, and just did that. So I started this challenge called 100 days of hack the box, where I was doing like 100 different challenges on hack the box, and I did complete all the 100 challenges. There's no like set challenges on the website. I just picked up like 30 medium, 30 easy, and like 40 hard, and something like that.
Hmm.
And I cataloged or wrote blogs or walkthroughs. They call walkthroughs for about I think for like 30 of them.
Hmm. Got it. So that
And
was your portfolio building kind of in a way.
right.
Yeah.
And not just that, but what I also did was whatever certification I did, I cataloged whatever resources I used and what was my experience and which of the like specific areas I really enjoyed working on. And I don't think any of these HR folks, maybe they read it, maybe not, but it really shows that you're dedicated towards a thing. And I personally feel it really helps build, discipline, and that really helps in the process.
Yeah. And storytelling as well, because once you get it, these are the stories you will kind of, it shows the passion towards the field.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, I forgot to ask you this in the beginning, but did you have any work experience before you came to United States?
Professional work experience, no.
Yeah.
But I don't think I built all of this completely in like while doing masters. So I did a lot of research and a lot of like certifications when I was in undergrad as well.
Hmm.
So
So when it comes to profile, like building overall your resume building, because that is what you're going to put it in your resume. uh, so you obviously had a SOC analyst position on Syracuse, which we will cover in that video. Then you had research assistant, uh, and I know you mentioned you had some of the certification as well. So all of this was during your master's journey, or did you do this when you were in India?
So not really, and I actually started off with doing certifications in my first year of college, and that time it was just like being a hacker and all of that was exciting. But did the very basics, the CEH certification right in my first year of college, and then we had like a lot of programs in universities doing a lot of like GCP. GCP was like trying to push their courses in India at that moment, so we did a lot of like cloud stuff, and I really got into research in like second year and third year of my undergrad. And we what I did with my professor was nothing too fancy. I had a particular interest towards machine learning and AI and everything, because again, fancy terms. But what I did was I just took very basic problems in cybersecurity and tried to implement AI in that. Right, it was not that great, but the other two papers, that's something which is interesting, and there we started getting into the more advanced and more deep concepts in cybersecurity and more advanced models as well, with great support from my university, from my teachers and my professors. They were really helpful in supporting all of the projects which I was doing, and then it was more like, yes, that we know that this algorithm can improve the output for the specific data set for the specific problem. But now it's innovating. How do you actually target either a different domain or use a very different architecture or do something groundbreaking or do something which is like out of the basic norm to improve the cybersecurity posture of an organization? So
Mm.
the two focuses I had was in steganography, and the other one was in uh, intrusion detection. So I use like again like very weird AI algorithms to implement in these domains, and they actually work. So that's what my idea was for research, and I kept doing that research till like even after college. And looking at all that research, I joined as a research assistant in Indian Institute of Science, where I was working with building an IDS for 5G systems when 5G was in still the testing phases with multiple telecom companies in India.
Mm.
But that's when I realized that doing research and the research which is happening, which an academic institute would do, is very different from what's happening in the industry. Because in research, you're usually trying to do the most cutting edge stuff. But I realized this quite early on that companies are a little bit distant from the very cutting edge. They
Mm.
never want to implement which is something which is very advanced or very cutting edge because it's not proven enough in the environment or it's not proven enough in the industry. So it's good to do the cutting edge stuff, but it's also good to do something which is a little bit old and be proficient in that. That may be tools, that may be techniques, or whatever it may be, right? Or that may be strategies in general in the cybersecurity domain, of course. So then that's when I started focusing on it. That's when I started doubling down on, and that's when I started doing like more networking certifications, more getting the fundamentals right, and getting a little bit more higher end of certifications in the cybersecurity domain. And I kept doing certifications till like second semester of my masters. But that's when I stopped and I took a break. And now again, I'm doing more advanced than the most advanced level of certifications now. But to answer your initial question, it's a process. It's not just like I covered everything in masters, but it's a process going from undergrad to like the time in between as well as in the masters to build the whole scope, showing that you can do these many different things over a long
Mm.
period of time.
And that is probably how you filled up your resume, because you also did like a lot of hackathons and that hack the box kind of thing. So I'm assuming all of that was in your resume. Is that true?
That's correct. All of that was in my resume. Hack the box is was not, because hack the box can be gimmicky sometimes for recruiters and for more technical people, because let's just call it gimmicky. I'm not saying it's a bad source of information, but it's just that it's easy to cheat on all of these things. So
All of your research plus hackathons plus like your on-campus position at Syracuse and all of that kind of built resume, even though you didn't have like a corporate experience, but all of this is considered more like an experience which you have in the field.
I had my, which is not something out of the norm. It's basic, very basic stuff that have your phone number, email address, LinkedIn, GitHub, my Medium, but the schedule a call button and everything, right? I wanted them, I wanted them to like make it like extremely easy for them to reach out to me, no matter where they are, right?
Mm.
Just having that flexibility is, I think, really makes the person like more approachable. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
something which I think
yeah.
works. That
And so
and
from format perspective, it was just pretty much like header with all the links, then goes under education and skills, experience, projects, and that's about it. Is that
yeah,
right?
so yeah, that's about it. Nothing too fancy there. But I always kept my experience on top.
Yeah,
I think my experience needs to stand out more than my just bare bones certifications and my degree and everything.
yeah.
So my degree and certifications are actually at the bottom, right? Actually, the last thing was leadership skills, and right above that was my certifications and my technical skills, and then we have my degree and everything. So
Hmm.
I would say like almost 50% of my chunk was just my experience.
And assuming it's one
And
page resume.
yes, I focused on one page, but I do not think one page. is required. People are fine with more than 2 pages. And after talking to so many different recruiters and directors and everything, uh, I don't know from where this whole 1 page thing came up, but everyone mentions that 1 page is something which it's not a requirement. It's completely fine if you're going over 1 page.
I mean, as long as you have something to say, like I think,
Yeah, of course,
yeah, it's like you can't just fill up the fluff because it's like
of
not going
course.
to add value. Like now, I have 8+ years of experience, so I will need 2 pages because there's like 6 years
Right.
in my previous company, 3 years in my current company, and
Hmm.
my like other experiences. So I will need more than 1 page, but regardless, cool. And so back to the job application process. The one technique was finding the email, cold email technique, and you got multiple offers through that. Did you get the offer, any offer through cold application at all? Just like applying
I,
online?
I did, I did. I cannot deny that I did not, but there were quite a few actually with just applications on the internet and
Okay.
applying on their website and on I think even Indeed. I think, yeah, I think two were through Indeed too, and they work. I do not say that it just completely never works, that they're not looking at all of that.
Did you do anything special in the cold application, or was it like, meaning, did you customize your profile, your answers when you were applying, or was it pretty much blind, like, okay, I've done this multiple times, let's just click next, next, next?
No, so cover letter is one thing which I did not work on. I
Okay.
never built a cover letter. I don't
Yeah.
think I have a cover letter even till today.
Yeah, yeah,
But
not important.
yeah,
Yeah.
it never worked for me. I think I just did it for like one company and then I just gave up on that. But I definitely did you know modify my answers for that specific company.
Mm,
So, and again, I did that for the companies which I was really interested at.
mm.
So I know that this specific role is a hit or miss, or I might not get it because of, the tools are not matching, or the experience requirement is too high, or, they just don't hire, right? They just don't hire international
Yeah, yeah,
students. I
yeah,
even
yeah.
like tried all of that. So those companies I didn't bother changing, but for the companies which I knew that, yes, these guys actually have folks being international students. So there I actually did modify and answers for them. I never modified my resume though. So I just had three different resumes for three different roles, and that's it. I
Yeah.
would use the same resume everywhere. And at
But
that
like,
point,
you did not, but you still have relevancy to the role that you were applying to.
yes. So just the three different resumes I had for the three different roles, and I used the three resumes for all of these positions. I never optimized it for that specific company.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And to answer your questions about like answering the questions on the application which they ask, um, in the starting few applications or the starting few applications, I did that manually. But later on, I got good enough in prompt engineering to just put in my resume and put in the question and put in the company's name to come up with like specific answers.
Oh,
And of
interesting.
course, yeah, it's I won't say that just rely on like ChatGPT's knowledge for that. So you still need to relevant and push in relevant data about that company for that specific question. But the whole, forming the answer, making it like sound nice and professional and everything, that whole chunk can be pulled out and put in, can be done by ChatGPT. So
Hmm. Hmm.
Microsoft calls it Copilot for a reason. It's not going to do the job, but it's going to make you more efficient in the process.
Yeah, yeah, it will give you the thoughts, initial thoughts, that you are like, it's not a blank slate. At least now you have a framework, like, now change it and customize it and make it more human, in a way. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice. Okay. Cool. And then, is it possible for you to just, maybe not right now, but send me like a list of certification? Because what I want to do is like, again, we are probably going to make a separate video on just cybersecurity, but I would love to like just put like in the description that here are the certification you did. Maybe it will help others if they want to do it as well.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nice. Okay. Let's quickly talk through the interview process. Is it any different than SD or data role, or like do you also have online assessments or no?
It's a combination of both again in this case as well. There are many of the interviews do not have any online assessments. They just expect you to know, and they have like an informal, not informal, but not a coding round, right? So they still ask you technical questions and they'll grill you because you're expected to know absolutely everything in cybersecurity, which is not true, by the way. It's not true. And that's a pun, but uh, many of them actually did have quality like coding rounds, right?
Like an
So
online
like TikTok,
assessment? Yeah.
like an online assessment. I think like TikTok has one, Microsoft has one. No, Microsoft does not actually. Meta has, and
Oh,
there are
so
many
you did
companies which
interview all these big companies?
I did interview with Microsoft, not with Meta.
Okay, got it. Got
Yeah,
it.
but they do have like a an OA and everything.
Okay. And the OA is pretty much similar to SD, or is it more inclined toward cybersecurity where they give you like a task to do it or something like that?
I experienced both actually. I went through proper coding rounds as well. Like I think Palantir Technologies also has like a they give you the same coding round they give for SD as well. But there are other companies which give you cybersecurity challenges. So it's like the remember the tools or the labs which I was telling you for Hack the Box. It's very similar to that. So they have
Hmm.
their own environment and they have their own challenges which you need to do in a certain
Hmm.
amount of time frame, which is of course cybersecurity related. And you do that and you crack that and you get through.
Nice. Okay. So that is typical first round. If it does not exist, then it's the recruiter round. I'm assuming that where they're just trying to get the basic information. Then it moves on to like, is it pretty much technical round or is it any other round? And do you guys have behavior round? I'm assuming you do, but not sure.
We do. We do.
Yeah.
Many companies have like the team which you're working at is going to do the behavior round, but then you also have sometimes the senior ups are taking the behavior rounds and personality rounds and good fit rounds they call it, and then you have usually to like just give you the whole process after the recruiter calls you, you finish your OA, the recruiter calls you, and you set up a meeting. It's going to be technical, and that technical might be like 1 or 2 rounds based on you know how big the team is, what questions they have, and everything. So it changes from company to company. But if they have like one round, it's usually like very rapid fire. They're going to ask you like very specific questions in like the cybersecurity domain or just networking domain or computer science domain in general. And that's going to be like for like 2 hours. They grill you. They ask you a lot of questions. One interesting company which I had was that's the only company which did system design was
Mm.
Morgan Stanley. So they did system design even for internship. No, that
Yeah.
was a full time. Sorry, that was full
Yeah.
time.
Nice. Yeah. I was interviewing for technical program manager and product manager. I had to do system designs also. And I was like, "Bhai, humko kyun पूछ रहे हो आप?" But
Yeah.
I guess TPM role does require some if it's a hardcore TPM role. But
Hmm.
anyway, regardless, that's
Yeah.
cool. Okay. And so obviously you had multiple job offers. And what can you give, like what kind of money do cybersecurity engineers make? And tell me both in internships and then also full time.
Uh, just to give you from my experience, from I've seen folks work for like $22 an hour for internship, up to like $80 an hour. So
$80? What?
yeah, $80
Wha-
an hour. And I know
Oh
actually
my
met one person.
gosh.
Yeah.
I
So
just let me sink that in $80 per hour for an internship. That is crazy.
yeah,
What company was that? Do you remember?
that was yeah, Neuro. Neuro was it's an AI company based out of
Mm.
California, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so they are
Wow.
offering that salary, but actually, if $80 an hour is common in the security space, in I think even Nvidia offers the same salary.
Yeah,
Amazon
Nvidia
Robotics is
obviously.
the same.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Nvidia does offer high salary, plus they give stocks as well, which again,
correct.
if people would have gotten it in 2022, would be now
Yeah,
so rich. So, but
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
But
that's
I also know one person I met in one of the conferences. That person was actually getting $123 an hour. It was at a startup, and
wow.
Yeah. So
$123. That is crazy. Wow. I mean, for people who don't know, obviously, in United States, when you're doing internship, it's not like monthly salary; it's hourly. So that's why we are like, I'm freaking out. So if you do the math, it's $80 roughly. Let's average out to $100 just for easy calculation, because he said 123 and 80. This is not every company, by the way. Like I
of
think
course.
average would be 35, 40. I don't know.
Mhm.
But Yeah, you work 40 hours a week, so that's $4,000, and then for a month it's 16,000 freaking dollars. That is a lot of money if you are getting 80 or 123.
Yeah.
And that, like, if you just do the math for 3 months of summer internship, that's like $50,000. And some of them also give relocation and all of that. So
Yeah. So the benefits are just on top of everything else.
yeah, yeah. Okay, now I need to hold my breath, because I know you're gonna like tell me full time salary. So what is that?
Yeah, so the same thing with full-time salary. Again, I've seen folks work for like $80,000 a year with
Hmm.
no benefits, but I've also seen folks work for like 220K a year with benefits, and
Wow.
like on top of that, they would have benefits.
So
So that's a
that's two
huge
twenty
spectrum.
thousand dollars is the base salary.
Base salary, yeah.
That is
Uh, and
crazy.
that was for SD3 role. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. Oh yeah. So cybersecurity also has a role level wise as well.
Yes. Like I didn't mean SD3, I meant engineer 3. So
Right.
every
Yeah.
company has their own level system,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
same thing comes for cybersecurity as well.
So level three is like 2 years of experience.
Yeah, let's just say two, because most of the folks I know is right after the masters they're getting at level two.
Yeah.
But if you have here, your work experience from India really matters. So people who are getting SD or level three engineers or L3, they are called L3 engineers. L3 engineers might be getting like they might have like 2 or 3 years of work experience in India, and only then you'll actually get level three. But you right out of masters, if you do not have any experience, you usually settle at level two.
Hmm. Nice. Okay. Wow. That is a lot. Like, I think now
And
people will start working in
did,
cybersecurity.
And did I say that cybersecurity has the most amount of remote folks than any other domain?
Oh wow.
I've
How
never
is that
stepped into
even?
the
Because all the
office.
servers and everything wouldn't you have to be close to the servers?
Unless your product is like physical, you're never going to be next to the servers. So no company has their servers on prem now, and for the servers they have on prem, it's probably going to be in like in like a desert, or something like in some warehouse out of nowhere, right? It's never
Hmm.
going to be in office. Very
Yeah.
few companies actually have it in office, and even if you have it in office, you would never have access to the servers, because you'll just connect to the network via VPN, and you'll like have like these SASE systems which will let you in, and that you can basically do anywhere from the US.
Hmm.
So cybersecurity has the most number of like remote folks than any other domain
Nice.
in
Okay. I love that.
software.
Okay. Cool. I think we've covered everything. But what advice would you give to aspiring cybersecurity engineers who are either doing their masters or planning to, like, any advice would you give them?
Yeah, so I think maybe this is like a term which everyone repeats, but knowing your fundamentals is it's the core, and being consistent at what you're doing, it really stands out. So if you're consistent on something, just focusing on getting the security fundamentals right and getting the security aspects right of each of the technologies you've ever worked on, it really stands out. So it shows the resilience you have towards that specific domain. It also shows your interest and your dedication towards a specific domain. And just doing hard work does not make sense, but doing smart work also really stands out. And in addition to all of this, what really helps nowadays is in the creator economy, you need to have a brand for yourself. It does
Mm.
not have to be like creating videos or uh, investing a lot of time like all of this visual stuff, but just having blogs, just having write-ups, just having explanations. If not anything, if you can just come up with like diagrams and just details text about your process, about what your understanding on a specific topic is, is very helpful. It really
Mm.
shows and really puts you apart from everyone else in the whole competition space, right? And of course, being early is also very helpful.
Yeah.
So, like we experience fatigue in our day-to-day work, so are the HR folks. So, if you are going to be able to get into the list early on, they would be more interested to read your resume and actually consider you in more detail compared to the other folks because they're not fatigued enough for that season. And we all know that the environment is bad and everything. The job market is so bad. So just being early on as possible for that specific job posting or that specific internship posting is going to be really helpful.
Mm.
So just focusing on these basic elements has helped me, and then I'm pretty sure there are many more techniques to improve your chances and improve the search process. But this has really helped me.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. Again, thank you so much. I learned a lot, and I know there's going to be a lot to learn in our incoming future videos. So, super excited to bring you back. But until our next one.
Keep smiling and keep hustling.
Nice. That is awesome.